Hi, folks. Welcome back here to the online driver ed course. As I stated in my last message, I always like to send out some emails here just to keep parents on board with what's going on in the course or what they should see going on in the course. So, as of right now, I currently have, I think, 371 driver ed students between Redland and Cedar Cliff. And we're right around the 50% mark who have completed the first assignment. So, it's sounds terrible in my opinion, but it's a start. So I am asking for some of your assistance, please. If you could check and see, I have updated grades from Schoology to Power School as of about a half hour ago. So if you check Power School and you see nothing, just blanks, maybe like a hyphen for the grade, that means nothing's been done. Right? The other option is to go into Schoology, whether it's your own parent account or whether it's the student account. And if you go to the left side, kind of over in this area, mine says grade book. Yours would just say grades. If you check that out, you would see grades there as well. So if you could do me a favor and give me some assistance with that. One of the difficult parts of an online course is I don't see them face to face to be able to say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. I'll send emails and messages and things like that, but a lot of times they just click delete and it's like they never saw it. So any assistance you could provide would be greatly appreciated. At this point, the goal is to get this introductory work folder done and be starting the Module 1 folder. So I want to talk a little bit about this folder. I'll go a little bit more in depth with this one than I will the future ones, just because it's the first kind of nuts and bolts of the course here. So first of all, in all these modules, there's an introduction in here. It's me introducing the module a little bit more, but these are the basic things that we want to be able to take away from this course. All right, if we can answer these three questions, we should do pretty well here. So getting back out of that, once students read that, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to watch a video. It's this video right here. And then you'll see that there are some questions that are associated with it. All right, once they answer those questions, or once they watch a video and submit those, I'll grade them and it'll go on from there. All right. This talks a lot about just how risky driving is. Sometimes we take that for granted, especially as more seasoned or experienced drivers. But as a brand new driver, all the risks that are associated with it. After that, again, there's another video here. It talks a little bit about what a graduated licensing system is. Basically, that means you go from having a whole bunch of restrictions to none. So in most of the US now, we follow a 3-step graduated licensing system where we have a permit, we have a junior license, and then we have just the full privileged license. Some people used to call it the senior license. Those 3 steps are what we go through. With the permit, you have to have someone 21 or older who is licensed to drive in the passenger seat at all times. All right, that's the law there. With the junior license, there's 2 big restrictions. One is the hours you can drive. The second part of that is the number of people that can be in your vehicle. And then with the full privileged, as long as you have the seat belts to safely secure everyone, you can have that number of people, and there's no hours of the day that you can or that you're not allowed to drive in. So that's what we talk about when we talk about this graduated system. The next one is how to become licensed in Pennsylvania. Those who are not yet in the permit stage, this is a huge document I want them to be familiar with. If you click on this, it'll take to an outside source here. It's a PennDOT website, and this is a great manual. Again, if you're not familiar with the permit system, I would highly recommend looking at this. But basically, it talks you through everything. The fees have gone up just in the past year here. It used to be $35.50, then it was like $41.50, now it's $45.50. This talks about what you need for your permit, all right? And there's a couple items that are necessary. These items right here are really important. Knowing where your actual social security and birth certificate, all right? They can't be copies, they have to be the actual original. Those are items that sometimes people need to find or get a new one if necessary. It talks about the knowledge tests, all that other good stuff. Once you get your permit, you do this at least 65 hours of behind the wheel training. You wait 6 months, all those other good things. Then you can go for your junior license, and it talks about the restrictions. Right after there, it talks about the regular license, how you can get that, and all this other good stuff. So I'm not going to bore you with all that information, but it's a really good packet or source that I highly recommend taking a look at. After that, there's a short little what we call Ed Puzzle. An Ed Puzzle is a video that stops kind of sporadically and will ask a question. And then students answer that question and move on. It talks all about why we need to have auto insurance, right? And especially from the perspective of a teenager, which unfortunately is where your premiums are at the highest. But it talks about the necessity for insurance, what it does, what it covers, all that good stuff. At the end here, there is an assessment, quiz, test, whatever you want to call it. There's 15 questions on this. You need to get at least 12 to be able to move on to Module 2. Again, I think I've said this before, if a student doesn't get that minimum score or is a perfectionist and wants to get that 100%, they can retake it up to 20 times. It'll automatically record the highest score of all their attempts. If students are having trouble and they can't understand what's going wrong, I highly recommend that they message me. I will help them out. I'll usually either send a little video or a note back to them telling them what they might be missing, whatever the case is. So that is Module 1, talks all about becoming a driver in Pennsylvania. A lot of really important information, especially for those that are new to driving. I'm not going to bore you with much more than that. I will probably come back next week or the following to talk a little bit about Module 2, which is a fun one. Sign signals, road markings, things that, again, we take for granted as experienced drivers, but new drivers don't know a lot of it. So those of you who are helping out someone with a permit, it can be a little frustrating. I know it's hard to stay calm and patient sometimes, but just keep in mind at one point in time, we were all inexperienced new drivers. So if you need anything from me, please send me a message or an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If not, talk to you guys all later. See ya.